Hello, everybody! Welcome to another Sunday Funday. And as we have been talking about since August, because we swore it was going to come out in August, but they got pushed back, we are here to talk about 21 Bridges.
Violence. You're the only cop tonight who speaks first and shoots second. I will find out why the night happened.
Rep the set, yeah, gotta rep the set.
Now, we will fully admit that we were actually kind of looking forward to this for the fact that the trailers made it look to be fairly interesting. And not only that, but Chadwick Boseman, he's actually a pretty damn good actor, so hey, maybe it's gonna be good. Can't be as bad as half the other shit we've been seeing lately. So, I am going to actually lead us off in an opinion. Not because my opinion's the most correct, but actually because of one particular thing about this movie. Those who might be wondering, oh, well, is this any good? Is it, bad? Because the reviews from critics have been at best middling, most leaning towards bad. And not only that, but audiences have been kind of on the entire flick. I thoroughly enjoyed the hell out of this movie. It's the best way to put it. It is not what we think of as a crime thriller in nowadays. This is firmly rooted in an 80s, 90s era kind of crime thriller. Think like certain areas of Die Hard with a Vengeance or Die Hard itself. There is some... First off, there's actually some really well done action and throughout the entire flick. There is an entire plot that's running through this about what is happening, or pretty much trying to unravel pretty much a mystery, for lack of a better way to
explain. The trailer doesn't really tell a whole story.
Yeah, which is a good thing. I prefer a trailer that doesn't give away
don't give away the whole movie.
Yeah. Unlike Gemini Man, where, the big twist is given away in the trailer. It's like, thanks, movie.
Yeah, they're trying to make it like this big dramatic reveal. It's like, y'all already gave away in the trailer. Quit trying to be all soap opera with it now.
Yeah. But, yeah, to paraphrase real quickly what this all is about. Chadwick Boseman, he's sort of like a upper echelon... Nice way to put it, he's the guy who helps to go after cop killers. He's NYPD's go-to man who kind of helps to take down the most notorious of the gangsters, gangbangers, killers, stuff like that. He's very thorough, he's very intelligent, and he's also very ruthless in a good fashion.
He is not I's favorite person.
Yeah, he tends to kill a number of people. And on top of everything, how he ends up getting pulled into all of this, two guys go to rob this place of its cocaine. It ends up that they thought that was going to be about 30 kilos of cocaine. Not a ton, all things considered. Ends up it's 300. Which, those of y'all who have watched a single episode of Cops or any kind of crime procedural show throughout the entire naughties, you probably know it's like, that's a shit ton of coke. And it's all uncut too. It's like, oh, that's a lot of money sitting right there. And from there on out, we follow Chadwick Boseman and these two guys having a cat and mouse game amongst each other, trying to track them down, trying to find them, trying to unravel. There's actually a mystery happening within it all.
Yeah, mostly because things went wrong. They had to kill a bunch of cops.
Yeah.
So every cop in the city is on their ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and rightfully so, because in their eyes, there's been 7 cops gunned down. There one in a hospital.
And then later taken off life support.
Yeah, because she ends up brain dead probably. And that's one of the things I have to love about this movie. It is unabashedly violent at times.
Mm-hmm.
It's bloody as all hell. People get maimed throughout the entire flick. A guy gets like his eye partially blown out.
Yeah, And you get to hear J. Jonah Jameson drop the F-bomb a number of times. Like,
J. Jonah Jameson says fuck about as much as any regular New Yorker, I think. He is just mashing you with them damn syllables. Just fucking motherfucker fuckers. It's like, alright, I don't think I even go that bad sometimes. Sometimes.
I do sometimes, like, in traffic.
Mm-hmm. Or when we play Ultimate Chicken Horse.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, motherfucker. And sweet innocent. Whatever are you talking about?
Yeah, your Halo's held up by fucks. But yeah, I think that's what I really enjoyed about the movie, that really kind of jazzed with me, is that this brought me back to, almost in a way, Giallo flicks. I know Megan's not 100% like, what the hell is a Giallo flick?
Uh-huh.
Giallo is an Italian detective movie. They were made cheap, but they also had this just kind of like always seedy kind of underbelly to everything. And always, nicest way to put it is, there was never 100% like a good guy. Though this one doesn't have that. We'll just say there is actually a true good guy throughout this. But also in Giallo flicks, they tend to be unabashedly brutal. I hate to keep using the word unabashedly. But they also tend
This is a big word for the day.
Yeah, they tend to be very kind of in your face at certain times, but also underplayed as well. And there's a lot of crookedness throughout cops. Just to give away a little bit of the movie, there is some crooked cops, no surprise. But to be fair, I think you can kind of guess that, but in the trailers, and I will just give y'all this much of a heads up, it's not exactly like you think. Not in the fashion you would think. It still plays out, if I can give it one negative, it is a little on the predictable side if you have watched a ton of these kind of flicks. If you haven't, though, I think you're going to be fairly entertained. I think you're going to really go along with the mystery, be like, ooh, where's this going to lead us? And on top of that, you get fantastic acting throughout the entire movie. It's like Chadwick Boseman is just, he's actually really, really scary at times. Mm-hmm. And he comes off as a badass, but still a guy who has a moral system that is pretty much like Judge Dredd in many ways.
Yeah, he has no problem pulling a trigger. He just... only when there's just cause. Like, he has no qualms about killing one of the guys. Because that's...
Because the guy killed people, and it's like,
yeah, kill cops, even killed an innocent civilian or two.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, this guy, he's just...
he's a killer, is the nicest way to put it.
Yeah, whereas this other guy he's chasing is just...
He's a guy who's kind of caught up in really bad circumstances. Yes, he put himself in those circumstances, but he is not one who actively goes around trying, like, I'm going to just murder people wantonly.
Yeah, he's been trying to think carefully throughout this whole situation and trying not to kill anybody if he can possibly help it. And also trying to rein in his partner's more impulsive behavior.
Yeah, and that's another really good thing, is they give both of the, for lack of a better way to put it, the two bad guys. One's called Michael, the other one's called Ray. Yeah, Raymond.
Played by Taylor Kitsch.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, where did they pull Taylor Kitsch out of? He looks like he's been in a bunch of coke. But they are both Army vets.
No, I think Marines.
Well, still, they were part of the military. Let's say military vets, sorry.
Yeah, say military.
Yeah.
And you can tell even from this one heist scene at the beginning, you can tell they at least have military training.
Yeah, because it's very much like how you would think military guys would deal with a situation and how they would take down certain objectives in their mind.
Yeah, during like certain missions or like even just how they handle their guns. Because I noticed at one point, Michael crossed in front of Ray, and Ray, like, pointed his gun at the ground before pulling back up. It was like, okay, that, to me, spoke to, like, military training. It's like, okay. oh my god, I'm actually observant now. At least that particular moment in time.
Yeah. And then on top of everything, it's just... That's one of the things I like, that this movie, sure, there is bad guys, there are good guys, but there is nobody 100% like evil, and that's something I actually kind of like, even though there is like, oh yeah, that is wrong. There are guys who really are just one step, but nobody's a really evil mustache kind of bad guy. They all feel like, okay, there's a reason why I do this. And in fact, one guy is like, he does have sort of a reason, even if it is still a very bad reason he's the way he is.
Yeah, it's just, the few one-note characters, they're not in for very long. And most everybody's like very fleshed out. They're, everyday people. Just doing what they think is right, or just doing what they feel they have to do. And, there's good guys and bad guys on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's, everything not as black and white or black and blue.
Though a lot less, dumb as from what I've seen or heard about with Black and Blue. Black and Blue,
Yes.
from what I've heard, has not... Like, this deals with that kind of a story idea, it's like possibly corrupt cops and uncorrupt cops, trying to seek out justice and everything.
Yeah, unraveling conspiracy within the police department.
Yeah. And, god damn, I love this movie a lot. And I will fully admit, it's like, it helps that I've been a proponent of these kind of flicks. Hell, you can think of also Heat in many regards. Even though Heat to me, I'm kind of cool on Heat. Pun fully intended. Just because Heat, there's times I don't give a shit. Hell, you can think of this also like with Tequila Sunrise. I actually really like Tequila Sunrise. I know everybody's like, what the fuck, why do you not like Heat then? I'm talking Japanese to Megan right now.
I've seen neither of these movies. So.
But they are pretty much trying to deal with the gray areas of law enforcement. And that is something that I have to admire. Too many movies really nowadays, and I'm not trying to sit here and try and get on the soapbox. I'm very sorry if I sound like I am. But too many movies, the idea that they want to go with is that the cops, they are just truly, utterly corrupt, and the criminals are just being criminals because of bad happenstance. No. It's like, that's just the thing. It's like, there is some instances where that could be possibly true. But we're having too many of these movies that, for lack of a better way to say it, are just trying to completely vilify law enforcement. And there are some bad cops. There's a lot of really good cops, trust me.
Yeah, it's like you hear more about the bad cops than you do the good cops. So, of course, there's going to be this idea in the media and just in society's mind as a whole that, it's mostly bad apples.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not true.
And that's kind of the sad part about what we currently have when it comes to our crime thrillers. That's what they are. They're not focusing on cops who are shades of gray. They're cops that are shades of evil. And, I mean, you have cops that will only work with bad guys for really usually bland or stupid reasons. Here, any of the cops are working for bad guys, at least they try to back it up with something. There's at least some kind of a thing. And even the guys that don't, or the cops that don't work with the bad guys, they're not exactly great, but they're sometimes good. And then the cops that don't at all work with any of the bad stuff still have a shade of gray to them. And it's one of those, okay, even though this is an homage to those kind of films that were those shade of gray cops, it's far more realistic, strangely enough.
Yeah, I mean, they're not put up on a pedestal, but they're not portrayed as mustache-twirling villains either. Like, they're, regular people.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that actually is the strength of this movie, is that you don't have really bad guys. You have some corrupt, you have some killers, but there's killers on all sides, and that's actually the kind of thing that's like, okay, that's actually a really, really smart way of doing things. And it's just sad that because of the fact that this movie does not vilify one group or the other, people kind of been shitting on the movie. It's kind of the sad part of it all. It's like, I am not going to sit here and try and say that this is one of the best examples of this type of movie. It's a very friendly movie, but I wouldn't say that any of this is like, oh, you've seen this before in this other movie. Just like where Quentin Tarantino, his homages were straight up rip-offs in the first few movies. Trust me.
It's like, oh, look how much I know about movies.
But he has gotten better with time and also with work. Like, there was what I would consider homages in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that were not rip-offs. They were true homages to better flicks or older films and stuff like that. Even though I thought Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was fucking fantastic. Here, there is obvious, like, homages, but there's nothing that's like, oh, I have seen this in this other movie. Oh, I've seen that in this movie. It's like, here's just... The best way to put it is, you just get a fantastic flick. Well, I'm gonna sit here and keep, filleting this movie if you give me enough time. Is there anything else you wanted to say about 21 Bridges?
Well, I'll say, like, it did slow down a little bit. Like, about right in the middle.
Where you kind of would think a slowdown would happen for any kind of flick?
Yeah, I'm saying it's referred to as the second act slump.
Yeah.
It's kind of slow down and...
Gotta give you some exposition.
Yeah, in order to move the story forward instead of just, monotony.
Yeah.
But, like, it did slow down, like... A little bit of spoiler. Ray gets killed and the other guy is still on the run. And it's like they're having to chase him down and... He's got these thumb drives that just have all this important information, and all these cops are trying to kill him for their own reasons, while Chadwick Boseman is trying to
talk him down.
Yeah, like he's trying to capture him, obviously, because he was part of this crime that happened at the beginning.
Yeah.
And even though he didn't really kill all those cops, he still was an accomplice.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he believes that this guy's not really a killer. And, he believes that, okay, maybe there's something more going on here. And it's like, I would like to hear what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that, it kind of slows down for a little bit then, and then finally it picks back up, I think. But... overall, I liked it. It was good. It was not great, but it was pretty good.
I think those who have watched these kind of films before probably might disagree with you saying it's not great, but that's because it's a genre piece in a way of saying. But that's fine. That's understandable. I wouldn't expect everybody to love it. Because, again, it's one of those, it's hard to try and sit there and say that everybody's going to love a particular movie. Except for Avengers Endgame. Y'all should love that movie. Everybody's seen it. But yeah, so what would you give this movie as your final score?
I think I have to go with an 8.
See, like I said, I grew up on not just sci-fi, fantasy, and, watching people get mowed down by lasers and their random weird shit. Because I'm weird.
Yeah, I'll say the violence is not really too gratuitous.
Mm-hmm. But I also grew up on crime thrillers. They were a little bit slower than I probably would have liked at the time. Now that I've revisited a number of them, I've really grown to be like, I appreciate you now a lot more than I used to. Even though I still liked them when I was a kid, so I don't know, this movie just brought me back to those kind of times. So I will fully admit my review is incredibly biased thanks to the fact of how much I do know about these films and how much I've gotten to love them. So anytime one that comes up that is that almost 100%, I can't help. I fucking love it. I give it a high recommendation and I give it a 10. I know it's not a perfect film by any stretch of the imagination, but considering I have fantastic acting throughout, I have great characterization, really damn good action, and on top of everything, I at least have a satisfying mystery. This it doesn't feel like it's a mystery that goes nowhere, or it doesn't feel like it's a mystery that ends unsatisfactorily. It has an ending, and it doesn't need any more. I love that.
Yeah, and I will say about the ending, it's not very cliche. It's predictable, but it's not for the reasons that you think.
Yeah, and it's
Like everybody has their own reasons for doing what they're doing in this film.
yeah, and that's the reason why I give it a 10. It's like it hit me right back in this. This is what I loved about the 90s and 80s. It's like, this is what I loved about some of those films. It's just what they tried and they did stuff that you wouldn't expect, and just like, it's so good. It feels so good, and not only that, but like I said, I gotta respect a movie that this could have easily just went for like a PG-13, and it's like, nah, fuck it, fuck that shit. We're going R. We're gonna go hard R with this. There's so many fucks and motherfuckers.
Yeah, we could have sworn it was PG-13 and saw like 2 Red Band trailers in front. Like, okay, I guess it's a rated R film. Okay.
Yeah, and then like J. Jonah Jameson comes on screen.
It's like, fuck this, fuck that. Shit.
Okay, it's rated R then.
Dropping what? 8 F-bombs and MF bombs with.
His first few lines.
Yeah. It's like, sheesh.
He's like, geez, J. Jonah didn't get those pictures of Spider-Man that he really wanted. I say go check it out. If you have been a fan of, like I said, giallo flicks, or more importantly, of the 80s and 90s crime films that were very, prevalent amongst the lower scene, or, 42nd Street kind of films, not the porn ones, obviously that'd be weird. But, if you were a fan of those growing up, you're going to love this movie. It's going to hit you in all the right areas. You're like, oh my god, this feels so good, it looks so good, it sounds so good, and you're just gonna enjoy yourself. Those who are wanting a really super in-depth like mystery film, it might be something. It's got a good mystery, it's not got the most complex one, on which I will fully admit. But if you're looking for, a good time at least, and also something you can watch, you'll be like, that was fun, I enjoyed the hell out of that.
Yes, please give this more movie or more money than Frozen 2.
Yeah, we can
I cannot talk.
we can let Frozen die off. First Frozen fucking sucked.
And let it go.
No, don't let it go. Just put 2 in its head and just be like, it didn't exist. Never existed. Oh, but hey, that is our review of 21 Bridges. So
Next week,
Knives
Knives Out.
Yes, been looking forward to this one. And just for a wee little bit.
Funny. Hopefully, it's not Ready or Not all over again.
Yeah, let's just hope it gears more towards that black comedy that should.
Yeah, we were looking for in Ready or Not.
That was more kind of slightly torture porn-esque.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
I was like, I don't mind that it was a darker film. But, it's supposed to be a dark comedy. It's like, where's the comedy?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't mind some of the dark humor. Like, man, what happened here? In-laws.
Alright, damn it, that was funny.
Yeah. It's a way to end the movie.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we'll be back with Knives Out next week, so we'll have our knives nice and sharpened for that flick. Hey, we'll see y'all next week, so until then, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.